Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Bala. Yeah.
So we'll start the class. Let the people come and join the class. So right now we are moving into the risk management knowledge area, right? So how many processes you can see in the risk management?
7.
7 process.
7 process. Does any process in the risk management supports the initiation process group? Does any process from the risk
No.
management support? No, right? So there is no process. So how many process supports the planning process group?
5.
5, right? We have 5 process. How many process in the execution? 1, right?
One process.
So how many process in the monitoring and controlling? 1.
1.
And there is no process supports the closing process group. So altogether we have 2 process in the initiation, right? And we have 24 process for the planning process group. We have 10 from the execution. We have 12 process from the monitoring and controlling, and we are having 1 process from the closing. So altogether we have 49 process, right? So out of 49 process, out of 24 process in the planning process group, we have 5 process planning process group.
Bala, sorry to interrupt. Somebody has to mute the mic.
1 minute, 1
There is
minute.
a back.
Okay.
Thanks.
So out of 24, 5 is supporting for the planning process group. Out of 10, 1 is supporting the execution. Out of 12, total monitoring and controlling, we have 1 process supporting for monitoring and controlling process. There is no process for the initiation and the closing, right? Okay, so risk will be a very important topic. Can we, the project is so simple in nature, so we don't require to perform the risk management. So can we skip the risk management process domain? The project is so simple in nature, so we don't require to perform the risk management. So can we avoid the complete risk management in the project, which is very simpler? Hello.
No, Bala.
No, Bala. No.
So,
Bala.
so the project, even the project is so simple in nature, we have to perform the risk management. What about the process? We have to use the complete 7 process to complete the risk management successfully. Good evening, Mr. Vinod.
Good evening, sir. Actually, I'm coming. So
Yesterday
I'm
you logged in, right?
I'm driving. I just switch on this class.
Okay.
Last class also I am unable to attend, so I just.
Okay.
Yesterday, I'm leaving from.
Yesterday you logged in, right?
Yesterday.
You logged yesterday for the classes, right?
Just I actually
Okay.
just means I put it there, then it
Okay.
mistakenly tried to
No
open.
problem. No problem. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So there is any chance for us to skip any process from the risk domain, or we need to perform the complete 7 process? The risk is a very special area where you can see there is a separate examination for RMP certification under PMI family. So the PMI family is having a specialized certification, and they're going to bring that one as a practice standard. Since many people, you and me, is not having the hands-on experience in using the tools and techniques under the risk management. So the PMI has decided from 2009, they want to bring a certification for RMP. So anyone wants to work as a risk owners, or anyone who want to work as a risk consultant, or anyone was involving in the risk related area in your project, you want to work as a risk manager. So you have your certificate, you have one more certification. After the PMP, you can go for RMP. So there's any chance for us to skip any process? So as usual, once you're going to start your project, once you're going to start your risk management, you have to start with your risk management plan, right? So you need to have your RMP, risk management plan, right? And you need to perform the risk identification. Then you need to perform the assessment, qualitative assessment and quantitative assessment. And then you need to develop your responses once the risk is properly assessed, qualitatively and quantitatively. And this is the place where you're going to implement the responses. And the implemented responses, whether it's going to give the, whether it's making you to fulfill the objectives or it's meeting your expectations, you need to monitor. Otherwise, you will be suggesting the people to modify the responses, right? So there's any chance for you to skip any process under the risk management, or we need to complete, we need to run complete 7 process to complete the risk management. Guys, come on, please. Give me the answer. There is any chance for you to skip any process under the risk management, or you can, you need to run the complete 7 processes given by the PMBOK. Can you recollect your memories that we studied this one in the, during the first class, during the introduction? Miss Kala?
Yes, Bala. I think
Yeah.
we can skip
Any
quantitative or qualitative, something you said.
okay, not something. It's many people will skip the quantitative.
Yeah.
And most of the project, 99.99%, they'll be performing the qualitative. So there is a chance for you to skip this process. Why we need to skip the quantitative risk process? What is the reason behind that? What is the reason behind that? Because the reason, simple reason for you to, you can skip in your project, because this process is going to be a time-consuming process. It's a time-consuming process, right? It's a time-consuming process, right? And it's so expensive in nature. So expensive, right? Why it is time-consuming? Because this is done to the project level. This assessment is done to the project level, and the qualitative risk assessment is done to the risk level. Risk level. And most of the companies will not go for the quantitative because they will not able to get the yield in running this expensive process. So they are not able to get any kind of worth. If you're not able to get any kind of worth in running this particular process, you can skip this process and you can directly go to this process and develop your responses after you're done with the qualitative, right? Because the software which you are going to use, the license key software, one software will be costing you nearly $40,000, $35,000 to $40,000, right? So you need to model your project, modeling and simulations. You need to model and you need to do the simulations. So multiple simulations and multiple modeling will be done. And you need to have the sophisticated software called Monte Carlo. So Monte Carlo will be a data analysis software. So this particular software, you need to have subject matter experts. Mainly, many people will be using the IT people to run the software. And to feed the data into the software, you need to have the statisticians. Many physics laboratories or many aerospace project, rocket science project will use the Monte Carlo. And because they need to perform the modeling and simulations, they need to know about the chance for them to get the success, in chance in meeting the objectives, and what is the variation they have. So how they are able to cover up the variation using the Monte Carlo simulations. So they need to wait for their assessment report months together. So that's the reason many projects are not willing to take the quantitative. They will go with only the qualitative. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. So you're able to see a new process, right, in front of you. So we start with the first process. So we have to take a mother document for our project. So what is the mother document? Sorry, for the risk management. So we have to bring all the safety compliance as a sub plans, and we need to manage, we need to plan our risk management to the management level. So we are able to develop the risk management plan. So what you are going to define in the risk management plan? This will be a plan or a document that will be a roadmap. It's a guideline document. How the subsequent processes will be performed in the risk management. So you need to just come with your defined guidelines. So how to perform the risk identifications, how to do the qualitative assessment, and if you're going to use the quantitative, how you're going to run the quantitative, and how you're going to develop your responses, what kind of responses you're going to develop, and who's the person to implement the responses, and to implement the responses, what kind of symptoms you're going to give to the particular person, so you can ready with this response. And who will be the person to do the monitoring and the tracking informations? Who has to track the response and who has to give the feedback whether the response was fulfilling the objectives, meeting your expectations, or you need to do some modifications. So you need to make sure that you need to define this information into the risk management plan. So risk management plan will be serving as a roadmap. It's a guideline document. It's a travel phrases for an unknown area, right? So you can do your travel and you can reach your destiny properly, right? And risk management plan will be the mother document where you can define the risk strategies. So strategies how to manage your risk. So the strategies are very generic in approach. Most of the project will be going with the same kind of strategy. So the project is so simple in nature. You need to make sure that what kind of strategy you will be using for you to manage your risk, or you'll be going with the specific methodologies. So specific methodology, the project is so complex in nature. So there will be a lot of risk will be coming from the project. So how you're going to manage using your specific approach? What kind of data you're going to use for you to manage your risk, and where you will be getting the source of data. So all this will be in a specific approach to manage that risk, since the project is so complex in nature. So you're documenting the risk strategy, how to manage your project, or you'll be coming with a specific methodology and the roles and responsibilities for each and every process which you intend to run for your project, which is coming under the risk management. What kind of role and responsibility you're going to give, and what kind of resources will be used for each and every process. So who will be the person who's going to be a process owners, and who will be the person who will be taking a role as a supporting staff to support the process owners, and who will be the person who will be taking the risk manager position. So you can manage the complete process, and you can track the informations, and you can respond to the project manager, because project manager has to oversee the complete project objectives. So he needs an extension to manage the risk management properly. So he's going to be the extension for him will be the risk manager. So all the people will produce the report and give to the risk manager, and risk manager will take this report based on the risk related. So he's going to discuss with the project manager to take a next upcoming actions. Is it clear or not, guys? Hello?
Yes, Palla.
Okay. Then once you know about the roles and responsibility and the resources that's needed for each and every process, selected process, which you intend to run for the risk management, make sure that you need to know the total budget you're going to spend for the risk management process. So what will be the total budget we have to spend for the complete risk management process? Now, that will be determined in the risk management plan. So once you are determining your budget, how much it is going to cost you to run the risk management. So whether you will be managing the risk using the internal resources, or you need to bring the external resources, you need to hire a consultant for managing the risk. So what will be your total expense? So that expense should be coming as your budget. And this budget is only for the risk expenditures. And once you are coming with a budget, you need to make sure that what activities we need to perform in each and every process, how you are able to take these activities, and you are scheduled that you are able to schedule that one into the scheduling tool. So what sequence you're going to perform this activity, risk related activities. So you need to make sure that the activities you're going to perform for each and every process, and how you are able to schedule this activity in your scheduling tool. And apart from this, one of the important criteria is what kind of RBS you're going to use. What do you mean RBS? What do you mean
Resource breakdown
RBS?
structure.
Risk breakdown or resource breakdown?
Why we need to break down the resources? What is the intention for us to break the resources into categories? Why? What is the intention? Can you see the RBS here? Hello? Will you be able to see your RBS here?
Yeah, it's gone.
One
The
minute.
table is not coming now.
One minute. You're able to see this one?
Yes.
Okay. How many levels of RBS you have? 3 level or 4 level RBS you have, or you have only 1
3.
level or 2 level? You have two level of
Three level.
RBS, right? You have two
What
level
about
of
the level
RBS,
zero?
level 1 and
No.
level 2, right?
Bala, what about level 0? Do we need to consider?
So that's the first level, right? The complete project, and this is the level 1. You're going to break the project into level 1 and level 2 RBS.
Okay.
Okay, now, so you're going to give the category name here, technical risk, and you're going to give the category name as a management risk. So what all the risk you're going to find out as a technical risk, you're able to bring into this category, right? What all the risk you are able to find out for management related, you're able to put into management risk. Why we need to categorize your risk? And for your kind information, we will not use the RBS here. We're going to define what kind of RBS we have to use. We have to go with the 1 level RBS, we have to go with the 2 level RBS, or we'll go with the 3 level RBS or 4 level RBS, depending upon the complex nature of your projects. Normally, the people will go with the 2 level of RBS. If the project is so complex in nature, maybe they'll be breaking that one into one more level. So it will be a 3 level RBS. What is the necessity for you to just use your RBS? Why the RBS is used here? Why you need to put the risk even into a various categories? Why you are grouping the risk? What makes you to group the risk?
Easy to track.
Easy to track, yeah. Then what happens if you don't categorize your risk events? If you don't categorize your risk event and you found out nearly 181 risk, it's happening because of poor communication or poor maintenance. You are not able to put it into category. So 181 risk is an individual risk, and you never categorize. And nearly 232 risk events are coming because of poor maintenance, and you never categorize. What happened?
So if we can categorize, we can reduce the risk management plan.
No, how are you going to reduce the risk management plan?
I mean, if there is 181 risk means we need to plan for 181, right? Otherwise, if it is grouped into maybe 5 or 10.
I think that you are very, very close to the answer, but you're not able to put in the proper format. I will help you. See, what he's trying to say, if we have this 181 individual risk not categorized, so once we developing the responses, we'll develop how many responses? One response, or you'll be coming with 181 responses.
181 responses.
So you'll be developing individual 181 responses. So don't you think that you're wasting your money there? Don't you think that your efforts are wasted there? Don't you think that you're wasting so much of efforts? Time is wasted there in coming with the individual responses rather to come with one generic response. Hello?
Yes, Bala.
So don't you think that you're wasting your time if you never categorize your risk? Once the people start developing the responses, once you decide what treatment I need to what treatment I need to give to this various risk event, if you never grouping the risk, so you will be coming with the individual responses. You are able to develop the individual responses, right or wrong? So in order to avoid that, only the people is able to group the risk under specific categories. So if you know the category that 181 risk is coming of poor communication, you will not develop 181 individual responses. You will be coming with one single generic response, or it will be a specific response, right? So which process makes you to categorize your risk? You are defining what level of RBS you have to use, but where you going to use exactly the RBS? Which process will be used in using the RBS? The qualitative risk assessment process is going to categorize the risk, or you are able to categorize the risk in the quantitative?
Qualitative only, right?
Only the qualitative risk assessment only will be doing the categorization. The focus of the qualitative risk assessment, please take this information in the notepad. There are two information you can see in the qualitative. Two important thing you can do in the qualitative. You are putting the risk into a priority, and you are putting the risk into a particular group. You are able to categorize your risk. You are able to give the priority for each and every risk. Why I need to give the priority? Categorization, you know very well, if you're going to bring the risk into a particular category, you will be developing a very specific response. In spite of spending your money and your effort in coming with the individual response, that's very clear. Why we need to give the priority to the risk events? What is the necessity for you to give the priority to the risk events? Why you are prioritizing the risk? You are ranking your risk. This risk event, I'm going to rank as a number 1 risk, and this will be a second risk. I'll be ranking this one as a 3. I'll be ranking this one as a 4. Why we need to give this rank?
Accordingly, we can concentrate on the high risk events.
Okay,
or,
so what you are
number
meaning to say that you can go for a good focus, right? You can have a good focus, right or wrong?
Correct.
So
Correct.
why we need to rank the risk? You're going to rank the risk as high priority, and you're going to give the moderate priority or medium priority, or you're going to name this one as a low priority. So in what condition you are naming the risk as a high priority? The risk events which is going to impact me very near. From today, it will take like 1 or 2 months. It will be impacting my objective. My cost will be impacted by this risk events. So I'm going to consider this risk event as a highest priority risk. The risk event which is going to impact me at the last year of my project. So I'm going to place under the low priority, right? The risk event which is going to impact me after 6 months, I'm going to placing this one as a moderate priority. So I'll be able to get a good focus because I'm not able to glance the complete risk events which is logged into the risk register. If the risk register will show that you are having 1,000 risk events or 10,000 risk events, if your project is so big in nature, can you concentrate all the 1,000 or 10,000 risk event at the single glance? Will you able to focus the complete 1,000 or 10,000 risk as a single glance? So you need to have a good focus. Which risk I need to concentrate for near future? Which risk I will be focusing for a far future? So you are able to give the priority or you are able to rank your risk. So ranking or the prioritization and categorization is a 2 important thing you're going to do in the qualitative. So to rank your risk, to give the categorization, to group the risk, what kind of RBS the team has to use? The team has to use, or the RBS can be used for you to perform the risk identification also. You can know about you can bring the risk into the particular category. Once you are knowing which risk event which is going to impact your objective, so you're able to bring into the category. So categorization can happen in the risk identification process as well as in the qualitative risk assessment process. But the main focus in the qualitative categorization and prioritization. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear? Hello?
Yeah, it's clear, bro.
Okay. Now, sometimes the company like oil and gas industries or many complex nature projects, so they will use the lowest level of RBS. So they'll be using the lowest level of RBS. And this RBS is called as a prompt list. What is that? What is that? Prompt list. And you use your prompt list. You are defining what RBS you have to use. 2-level RBS you have to use, or you're going to use only the lowest level of RBS. That will be a prompt list. And how you are able to do the categorization and prioritization. So you are able to define this one. But actual usage, you're going to do once you're coming to the qualitative and the risk identification process. So what do you mean by prompt list? What do you mean by prompt list? Subject matter experts, SME says that you can use the prompt list as a structured framework and you can do a brainstorming session and you can bring the risk into a particular category. So that will be giving you the prompt ideas, what risk event which is going to impact your project objective and what will be the category of that particular risk. You're able to bring into the risk into the particular category. During the brainstorming session, you can use the prompt list as the one of the structured framework. Guys, you are there, right?
Yes,
I'm connected with you, right? Now, oil and gas industries, they'll be using a prompt list that will be called as a UCA. So UCA will be the prompt list that will be used in most of the oil and gas industries. Or any long-term projects, which is going to run for multiple years. So please note down, V stands for volatile. Volatility. What do you mean by volatile? Anyone? What do you mean by volatile?
Volatile is like
It's not stable,
vanishing
right?
away.
It's
Not
not
changes.
stable. It's not
Petrol or
stable.
diesel, we can say it's volatile.
Okay, volatile, it's not a stable, right? The price will go, the commodity price will go up and down, right? It's not stable conditions. And U stands for uncertainty. What all the risky event you go, what are the events you're finding, that one is an uncertainty. You are uncertain, right? You're uncertain. C stands for complexity. Complex. How complex the risk events. And A is you don't have the concise information about that risk event. It's an ambiguity. So UCA will be one of the important prompt list will be used in the long-term project prompt list, which will be giving you the prompt idea. If the examination point of view, they're going to ask you what is the reason for you to use the prompt list. It simulate as for risk identification process. The UCA or the prompt list will be used for you to simulate the risk identification process. Without performing the risk identification, we can't do the risk assessment, whether it's a qualitative or quantitative. You are not able to do this kind of assessment without the risk identifications. Right? So once you are performing the risk identification, you need to make sure that what kind of tool and technique we need to use to perform the risk identification process. So you are able to define what kind of tool and technique you will be using for the risk identification process. Sometimes some company will go with one more prompt list called a PESTLE. PESTLE. Or they're going to call the PESTLE. Same. So they're going to use EL instead of LE. And I use this one. Any risk event which is going to come from the political side. So that risk event you're going to capture it under this category. Any risk which is going to come from the economy. So that risk you are able to catch here. Any risk which is going to come here, S. What does S stands for? Hello? Hello?
Schedule?
Huh?
Schedule?
No, it's not schedule. They say this one as a not schedule, like a social. Like a social media, something like if you have like your data are hacked or something. So they're going to this one. And any risk which is going to come like a technology related. You find out this particular technology is a new technology. Once you're going to complete your project, there will be this technology will be considered as an obsolete technology. So any technological related risk will be there. And E stands for environmental. Especially once you are working in sustainability projects. So your product which you're going to use for that particular project should be what? It should not go against ecological, like ecosystems. It should be so friendly, right? So environmental, and L stands for if you have any kind of legal challenge. Legal. PESTLE. Sometimes company will be using PEST. So that will be one of the prompt list. Right? And sometimes the company will be going with something called a TCOM. TCOM. So T stands for technology. E stands for it can be economy, or it can be ecological, or it can be environmental. C for commercially, what are the risks you're going to bring? And O stands for operational related risk. And P stands for political. Some company will be going with something called a spectrum. Again, S stands for social, P stands for political, E stands for you can go with the economy or you can go with the ecological, C for commercial, T for technology, R for regulation, U for uncertainty, M for marketplace. Whether the market is a growing market or market is a shrink market where you are not able to keep your product properly. So market is completely having the recessions. Many things are many people or many companies are sending the layoff. So market is not so feasible. So these are the things you need to decide. What kind of a prompt list will be used? That will be the lowest level of RBS. Whether you will use the PESTLE, whether you go with the TCOM, whether you go with the UCA, whether you go with the spectrum, or you go with the PESTLE, right? So any other what I given here, your company was using as a prompt list? This is the first time you're hearing something called prompt list?
Yes.
Okay, so try to do this one. So since we don't have the hands-on experience in the risk management, so the Project Management Institute in the body of knowledge, they are asking you to just go with this kind of prompt list, which will be giving you the prompt idea. You can use this list as a structure framework. You can do a very good brainstorming session for you to bring the collective risk into each and every categories. So it is very easy for the person who's going to assess and easy for the person who's going to develop the responses. So they will not go through the individual response. They will not come with the individual responses. They will come with a specific response, how to fix this. Right, sir? Okay. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. Now, what is the reason for you to have the stakeholder register? And why you are doing the stakeholder analysis? You're seeing the process, right? The planned risk management process, right? Tool and the input, the tool and technique and output, right?
To
Yes.
include the correct stakeholders for
No, that you can decide in the stakeholder engagement, right? Why the stakeholder register is used here? Stakeholder register will be used for you to plan your stakeholder engagement strategies. Because the stakeholder will be having a different stakeholders. The mentality of the stakeholder are different. One will be
That
the
is
one
right.
will be the one will be the resistor, one will be the supporter, one will be the neutral, one will be a positive, one will be the negative stakeholder, one will not have that much of power, one stakeholder will be having more power, one person will be not influential person, and one person will be a less influential person. One person will be done, they're going to do a more involvement in the project. Some stakeholder are less involved, right? So each and every stakeholder will be coming with a different mentality. So I need to plan a different kind of strategy to reach the stakeholders. So I need to know who will be the most important stakeholder to the project. So based on that only, I need to develop my stakeholder engagement strategy. But what is the necessity for me to bring the stakeholder register here? And why I'm doing the stakeholder analysis here? I'm going to develop a risk management plan for the entire project. I'm bringing the safety, compliance, everything under the risk management plan. I'm taking the risk into management level. So I'm developing the management plan, risk management plan. So what makes me to just perform the stakeholder analysis using the stakeholder register?
to get their buy-in.
Okay, to get the buy-in, right? Now what happened here? This is not the stakeholder analysis. Please note, you are able to perform a meeting with your subordinate, taking the complete risk, the profile of the stakeholder. You are doing the risk profile analysis. You are able to perform the stakeholder risk profile analysis. You are doing an assessment, the stakeholder risk profile, right? So what is the necessity for you to assess the risk profile of each and every stakeholder? Why you are analyzing the risk profile of each and every stakeholder here? Why you are analyzing the risk profile of each and every stakeholder? Why?
To create some mitigate plan.
No, right now you're not developing the responses. You are in the development of the risk management plan. But why you need to just make sure you are analyzing the risk profile of each and every stakeholder by taking the information of each and every stakeholder in the stakeholder register? Why?
The risk may be related to stakeholder also.
Yeah, all the stakeholder are having the risk, right?
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, now what makes you to do this one risk profile analysis? You are able to find out the complete risk appetite. What does the appetite means? Risk appetite. What is the risk appetite?
How much risk you
How
can sustain?
much? Yes, how much? The entire stakeholder who's having more power and more involvement and more interest, they are the key stakeholder. They can break your project. They can even make your project. So you are able to know about the risk appetite. That means you are able to know how much the entire organization can withstand the risk. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear or not? How
Yeah, clear.
much the entire organization will withstand the risk? That means how much the people will allow the cost variation, how much the organization can allow the schedule variation, how much they can allow the scope variation, how much the people can allow the quality variations. So you are able to know about the risk appetite. So risk appetite will make you to just know about the stakeholder risk attitude. So the stakeholder risk attitude. What do you mean by attitude? What do you mean by attitude?
Behavior.
Okay, behavior. So and behavior, please note this is a mental state, right? It's a mental state of a group or a mental state of an individual. So each and every stakeholder will be having the same attitude. Each and every stakeholder will be having the same attitude.
No.
No.
No, but
So each and every stakeholder will be having a different mentality, right? Or they have a different kind of behavior, right? So the attitude in sense, one stakeholder will be a risk averse or adverse. So what do you mean a risk averse and risk adverse? Can you recollect your memories? We were having a discussion on this. You're not analyzing the stakeholder, you are doing something called a risk profile analysis, taking the profile of each and every stakeholder, which you brought into the stakeholder register. So stakeholder register was developed in identify stakeholder process, and that's not going to be one-time process until you're going to close the last activity for the entire project or a specific phase. You will be running, you will be doing it will be a continuous process. You keep on iterating. Any new stakeholder will come inside, you are taking the information about the new stakeholders. And any stakeholder is not relevant for the next phase of the project, you're able to remove that one. So the stakeholder identification is not one-time process, it's going to be many-time process. It's a continuous process. So what do you mean the risk averse or adverse?
Something positive.
These people will not make you to go and do a riskier project. For example, your project is $1 million. $1 million. And top of that, you will be adding the 30% of your contingencies. So what is the total project budget? We've seen in the last class budgeted completion. What is your total budgeted completion? How much you need to spend? 1 million, 1.3 million, right?
yes.
And this 30,000, 30%, 300,000, you'll be using for what? The actual work will take you, will make you to spend 1 million. And this 30,000 is, this 30,000, sorry, 300,000 will be used for you to manage your risk alone, right? The 300,000 which you brought is only managing the risk, right or wrong? So this project is so riskier in nature. So these people, oh, 30% you're going to take as a contingencies. You're spending too much for risk. So that means this particular project is so riskier project. Well, we don't want to go with this project. Go with a less riskier project. We are so established. We are there in the market for last 35 to 40 years. We never done in our life the riskier projects. So some mentality of the people will be a risk averse or risk adverse. If you're going to take a mulberry worm from the mulberry tree, and you're going to put that mulberry worm in the body of a person, so how he is going to feel? You will be feeling comfortable or you'll be feeling itchy. You're going to throw that particular worm into the shirt or t-shirt. You are dropping that one into the body of a person. How they feel? They will feel comfortable.
No.
It's a itchy, right? They have a feelingness of itchy. They have the itchy feelingness. So they doesn't want to take any kind of riskier project. They want to go with a proven project. They do less riskier projects. So this will be the mentality of the people. But some people or few people will be a risk seeker. Risk seeker. The attitude will be a risk seeker or a risk lover. They love to play with the risk, or they want to gamble with the risk. So they becomes a risk gambler. So this is one mentality. So where you can see this kind of mentality, where you can see this kind of attitude, where you can see this kind of attitude.
Startup.
You are able to see this kind of attitude in the startup company, young, dynamic startup company, right? Suddenly, the company is throwing out loyal employees without any reason. For any political reason, they're going to throw a loyal employees. Now, the loyal employees, they will be starting the company of their own. So they will always go with the less riskier project, or they want to take a riskier project to prove them.
Riskier project.
Actually, so the intention of the person is that no one has gone ever. Let us go there, and we can play with the risk. That let the risk pay the dividend on the roads. So this people becomes a risk seeker. This people becomes a risk lover. This person becomes a risk gambler. They love to play with the risk. They want to gamble with the risk. So this is the other attitude of your stakeholders. Or some people will be a risk neutral guy. Risk neutral. So he'll be sitting like a cat, and the cat will be deciding that which side he has to take the stance. So these people are so calculative, and for the monetary benefit. So which side will be providing them a benefit? Based on that side, based on that decision only, they'll be taking a side. They can jump into the risk seeker side, or they'll be jumping into the risk averse side. Until that, they'll be holding the neutralship. They'll be holding they'll be showing their neutrality. They'll be neutral. They will not go left or they will not go right. They'll be staying in middle. Right? Some people are risk tolerant. What do you mean a risk tolerant? You're my colleague and you're sitting next to me, and always you do smoke. And whenever there is a call coming from outside or it's call coming from internal, you'll be taking a cigarette from your cigarette packet, and you'll take a cup of tea and you'll go outside, you'll smoke, and you'll be coming. In a daily, I could see that you're smoking more than 70 to 80 cigarettes. So I'm going to give an advice. Don't try to smoke too much. It will kill you. And one day you got the heartburn, and I advise you to go to the leading the cardiologist, and he has given you, he has diagnosed you, and he has given a report. I think that you're smoking too much. There is a congestion started in your chest. So don't try to complicate yourself. Try to quit your cigarette slowly. So you are not able to worry about yourself, right? Until the risk is going to maintain the same status. Once the risk is manifesting as the issue, you are not able to tolerate. So you feel the risk status is so comfort, but once the risk is manifesting as the issue, you're not able to tolerate it. So this will be a risk tolerant. So there are different attitude of the people. So based on the attitude of the people, you're able to know the risk, the complete risk appetite. Overall, what is the risk appetite of the stakeholders? Whether the people are risk tolerant, whether the total people are risk neutral, or whether the people are more risk seeker or they are risk adverse. So you are able to know the risk appetite of a stakeholder and understanding the risk attitude of individual stakeholder. That's the reason you're using the stakeholder register, and you're taking the profile of each and every stakeholder. You're doing the stakeholder risk profile analysis. So risk profile analysis will be done in the meetings. Risk profile analysis you can do as a brainstorming sessions. Risk profile analysis you can do in the interviews. You and your team can do the interviews. It can be a structured interview, or it can be a semi-structured interview, right? So what you're trying to establish in knowing the risk appetite of the entire organization, in understanding the risk attitude of individual stakeholders, in performing the risk profile analysis, taking their profile from the stakeholder register. So what you're trying to establish, why you want to know the mental state of individual persons, what you try to establish, why you want to understand the attitude, risk attitude of individual stakeholders, what you're trying to establish. You're trying to establish something, right? Hello? You're trying to establish something, right?
Yeah.
So what are you trying to establish? In why you want to understand the individual attitude, the risk attitude of individual stakeholders? Why you want to know the overall appetite of the entire organization? Why you done the risk profile analysis?
To generate the responses to address the risk.
Yeah, see, one thing is
Correct.
that you are making the risk as very important domain area, and you are making the people to understand the importance the organization has to give for the risk management. Risk management is one of the important domain area where it will be pushing your project towards the profitability zone. And the main information is that you are able to establish a controlled thresholds. So this control threshold, you are able to tag for all your objective. What is the control threshold for scope? What is the control threshold for cost? What is the control threshold for quality? What is the control threshold for schedule? What will be the variation the entire organization can allow? If we decided that schedule variation should be 12%, more than 12%, we don't have tolerance. We have to take a corrective or we have to take the preventive actions. Cost, we will allow you only 8% deviations. More than that, we will not allow. If it is going exceeding more than 9%, and we have to rethink that whether we have to continue the project or not. Right? Quality, we will allow this much of 10%, we can allow the variation. So there is a technical performance, if it is getting disturbed. The functionality is getting disturbed. 10% variation is there, no problem. It's more than 10%, we will not be able to tolerate. Scope, if it is having any variation, and the variation can be like 8 to 9%, we can tolerate. More than 8 to 9% in the scope, if it's giving any variation, we will not allow. We have to take actions. Either it will be a preventive or corrective actions. So the reason for you to just perform the risk profile assessment or analysis, going through each and every profile of stakeholder, knowing the attitude of individual stakeholders, and able to know about the total appetite of the entire organization, you are able to establish a risk control thresholds. And you're able to bring the control threshold, and you're able to tag this control threshold for each and every objectives, because risk is a domain. You can know very well that it is going to impact all the objectives. Almost all your project objective will be impacted by the risk, positively or it will be negatively. Right or wrong, sir? Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now you establish the risk threshold. What is next? What will be the next thing you have to do? So this will be the allowable variations. So what will be the next thing you have to define? You are not using here, you need to use in the appropriate process, but clearly you're going to start with a clear all the different informations. Whether you're going to use the PESTLE as your prompt list, whether you're going to use whether you'll be using the OOCA as your prompt list, whether you'll be using the RBS, 1-level RBS or 2-level RBS, what will be the threshold you establish for each and every objectives, then you're able to define very properly in the risk management plan. Before you perform the other processes which is coming under the risk management, you are very thorough. You are giving the proper guideline for the people who's going to perform each and every process. So practically, what will be the next thing you need to perform? You're able to see a new table in front of you?
Yes.
You're able to see? So once you are able to establish a threshold, the next thing is that you are able to define what you mean by probability and what you mean by impact. So you need to define the probability and impact at least 5 levels. You have to define the probability and impact. So why we need to define the probability and impact? Where are you going to define, where are you going to perform the probability assessment and impact assessments? Which process will make you to perform the probability assessment and impact assessments? Hello? Qualitative assessment or quantitative assessment?
Qualitative.
Qualitative risk assessment process will make you to perform the probability assessment and impact assessment. What do you mean the probability and impact? You will not do one assessment. You will be doing 2 assessments. One is you're going to assess the probability and you're going to assess the impact. What do you mean the probability? The probability is nothing but likelihood of that event occur, right? Occurrence of that event, likelihood. or what is the chance of that particular event will occur, whether it's going to be 60% chance, 90% chance, 80% chance. So you need to assess the probability of each and every risk events. Impact will be what? Impact can be a positive impact or it can be negative impact. So positive impact are your opportunities, negative impact are your threats. So you do two kind of assessment. One is the probability assessment, other one is the impact assessments. So the probability is nothing but likelihood of a particular event is going to occur, right? If someone is going to say a galaxy stone which is going to fall from the galaxy, from the Milky Way, so it is going to hit in your project. Straightly, it will come from the galaxy and it is going to hit on your tower crane. So what is the probability of occurrence? What is the probability of occurrence of that particular risk event? If it is going to hit your tower crane, you know very well the impact will be very crucial impact. The severity will be a very big severity. But what is the probability of that particular risk event will occur? So you need to assess the probability, right? It's like a minimum 2% or 1%, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So what is the probability if you're going to work in India? What is the probability of the monsoon rain? You're into the metro line projects. You're into the metro green or your metro yellow or golden line. And what is the chance for rain in monsoon? So you need to know the likelihood of each and every risk event, the occurrence. So you will be doing two kind of assessment. One is the probability assessment and one is the impact assessment. Impact can be a positive impact and negative impact. So it can impact any objective. Your cost will be impacted positively and negatively. Your schedule will be impacted positively and negatively. If it is a positive impact on your cost, you can save your money. If it is going to be a positive impact on your schedule, you can save your durations. If it is a negative impact on your cost, you have to spend much. If it is a negative impact on your schedule, you'll be losing the durations. You need to add extra durations, right? Whether it's a positive impact on the quality or not, whether it's going to show the negative impact on the communication or positive impact on the communications. So risk will be impacting all your objectives. So in order to measure the probability and impact, the people has to assess the probability and impact. You have to define the probability and impact definition table. So at least you need to bring to the 5 levels, right? So how are you going to measure your risk? The probability assessment and impact assessment you're going to perform in the qualitative risk assessment, but you need to just give the why we need to do the probability and impact assessment. Why we need to do the probability assessment and impact assessment. Each and every risk event is assessed for this probability and impact, right or not, Ms. Kala or Nitin?
Yes, Bala.
So what is the reason? So once you're doing the probability and impact assessment, you're able to rank your risk properly. Which risk are high impacting risk? Which risk are moderate impacting risk? Which risk will be low impacting risk? Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right or wrong? So you have to measure each and every risk for its probability and impact. So what we have to do, the risk policy of the organization will ask you to use a scale. So what kind of scale is used here? The scales are descriptive or the scales are numerical?
Descriptive.
It's a descriptive. Please note down. If you're going to use the descriptive scale for you to measure each and every risk event for its probability and impact, that scale is called as an ordinal. What is that?
Ordinal.
Ordinal. Right? Ordinal. Okay. What happens if I'm going to use a numerical scale? I'll be using a numerical scale. If I'm going to use the numerical scale for me to measure the probability of the risky events and the impact of the risky event, I'll be calling that particular scale as a cardinal. So cardinal scale are numerical terms, ordinal scale are descriptive terms. Like in the cinema, after seeing the Jailer movie or after seeing any movie, you need to just, you're coming outside, there will be many TV media companies, they'll be asking you to give the ratings. What is the rating for this movie? It's a 1-star movie, 2-star movie, 3-star movie, 4-star movie, 5-star movie. So you can give in the quantitative terms, you can give in the qualitative terms. The movie is not good. The movie is an average movie. It's above average. It's a below average. It's a wonderful movie. Fantabulous movie. So you're able to give in the descriptive terms. No, I'm going to rate this movie 3-star. So you're giving the numerical terms. So the scale which will be used for you to measure each and every risk events for its probability and impact. If it is a numerical scale, the scale can be called as a cardinal. If it is a descriptive term scale, that scale called as a ordinal. So you need to mention what kind of scale will be used for you to measure each and every risk events for its probability and impact. For example, in spite of the ordinal scale, we go with the cardinal scale. So you can use 1-point scale, or you can use a 5-point scale, or you can use 10-point scale. Right? For example, you're going to use 1-point scale. You can start with 0, year 0.2, year 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1.0. So I brought the table and I'm going to use the scale in the regular intervals. If any risk event which is going to measure its probability and impact, 0.2. 0.2 means what? It's very low, right? Right or wrong, sir?
Yes.
And what is the probability?
1 to 10%.
1 to 10%. And what is the time impact? How the time is impacted? 1 week you'll be losing if it is a negative impact. 1 week you're going to gain if it is a positive impact. Right? You will be losing not less than $100,000, right? Or you will gain not less than $100,000. What is the quality impact? Because you're able to establish a threshold on all your objectives. Time, cost, and quality is your objectives, right? There will be only minor impact on the secondary functions. It can be a positive impact or it can be a negative impact. So what happened? The risk is going to be measuring the probability and impact scale, which is going to give you like 1.0. So the risk will be very high, right? It can be a positive risk or it can be a negative risk. What is the probability of the risk occurrence? It's not less than 70%. Sorry, more than 70%. And the time will be impacted more than 6 months, and the cost will be impacted more than 5 million. There is a very significant impact in overall functionality, either positive impact or it's a negative significant impact. So once you're going to establish a threshold, that should be tagged into each and every objective. So you need to define what kind of probability impact definition table should be used for you to measure your risk events. Please note down the risk value formula or the risk score formula. The risk score or risk value for each and every risk events. Risk event score or risk value or risk score. Probability time impact. Probability time impact. Right? Now, for our example, risk A, all the 3 risks is impacting negatively on the cost. Understand? All the 3 risks are impacting your cost negatively. So you're going to lose your money. So you're going to lose $95,000. Risk event B, $160,000. And risk event C, $240,000. Now, can you able to rank your risk high, medium, and low? Can you rank your risk?
Yeah. C is very high.
Okay, so you'll be coming with a CAB, right? CAB, right?
C, yeah.
So you're going to give C is high, A is moderate, and CBA, right? CBE?
CBA. 160 or 60?
160.
60.
So
110.
CBA, right? CBA, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
CBA. So C event, risk event will be high, B will be moderate, and A will be low, right? So this is the correct way for you to find out the risk value and risk score. This is the correct way for you to rank your risk events. What you have here?
Only cost we have.
No, cost is there. Even schedule also will be impacted. Only you can see the impact, right? Where is the probability?
Yeah.
There's no probability, right? Now,
Yeah.
you can see probability A is 95%. The B probability of this risk event will be occurring is 40%, and C is 5%. Now the entire ball game changes, right?
Yeah. 95 will come first.
Okay. So
Yep.
now 0.95, right? right or not? So you get what? 0.95, right? Here.
Yes.
Okay. How much it is going to cost you? How much the money cost will be impacted negatively? 95,000, right? So if you're going to defend this table where you can see 95,000, you can see the 95,000 is here, right?
Yeah, less than
So what is
50,
that?
yeah.
Just 0.0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1.0, right? Okay. So 95,000, right? $95,000, right? So where
Yes,
you
ma'am.
so 0.95
No,
multiplied
0.2.
by 0.2.
Point
What is your risk value? Can you use your
1.8.
calculators?
1.8. The point.
Can you use your mobile calculator, please? Please use your mobile calculators. Give me the answer. I just kept my mobile in the charger.
Zero 0.19.
Okay. 0.19,
19.
eh?
Yeah.
Okay. 0.19, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what? 40%, right? 40% is what? 0.4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where you can see 160,000 cost is impacted.
A 0.4. Low.
Low 0.4. No, I'm asking 160. 160 is here, right?
Yeah, here only.
Okay, 0.4. So 0.4, 0.4 is how much?
0.16.
0.16. Okay. What is C?
240.
Okay. 0.
But also all at the same thing.
0.05, right? 0.05, right? 5%. So 240 where it is getting impacted against 0.4, right?
0.4.
So
Yeah,
what is the value
0.0.
going to get?
0.02.
0.02, right? 0.02, 0.19. 0.02 is C, risk even C. 0.19 is risk even A. 0.16 is risk even B, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 0.19 is A, 0.16 is B, 0.02 is C, right?
Bala,
Yes, sir.
sorry to interrupt. So can you repeat that third example? How we got 0.5 into 0.4, please?
No, 5% is how much in decimal?
Okay.
The risk C, risk even C is 5%, right?
Correct.
If you're going to convert this one as a decimal, how much you're going to bring? 0.5,
0.005. You are right.
Okay, how much you're going to, the cost is impacting 240,000, right?
Yes.
So where you can see 240, you are already defined the probability and impact table, right? Here, right?
Yes.
Right. What you get, you are using 1-point scale, right? To measure the risk event value. 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6,
Okay.
0.8, 1.0, right? So here 0.4 is coming, right?
Okay.
So 0.5 in multiplied by 0.4. So you are able to get what? 0. Point.
Cool. Yeah, let me calculate.
What you brought? For A, you brought 0.19. For B,
0.02.
0.02, right?
2. Yes.
So now I need to place in a chart. That chart will show which risk is high impacting risk and which risk event are moderate and which risk event are low impacting, right?
Okay. Yep.
So please
Yeah,
note,
thank you.
there is a chart called probability and impact, a matrix chart. Please note on this. You're able to see a new screen in front of you, right? This chart is, you're able to see a new chart, a new screen.
Yes, Bala.
Please note this particular chart is a probability and impact matrix chart. Matrix chart. Now all the risk is positive or negative, which is impacting your cost. Negative risk, right? Negative risk, right or not?
Threats.
So you're going to place under the opportunity or you're going to place under the threats?
Threats.
Under threats, right? So you done your probability calculation with impact, negative impact, right? So where are you going to place? Let me place this one in 0.9, right? Which is nothing but A, no? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. So where are we going to place here? Here we will place here risk event A. 0.16 where you can see, because here 0.40, 0.60 should be there. So we don't have this. This is only the example. Only the example. And we will place here 0.14 risk event B. Where you could see 0.02 here, right?
Yes.
So which risk is, see, actually, you can see there is a dark gray area. In the real chart, in the real project, they'll use a red color. You can see a light gray shaded area. In the real project, they'll use yellow or orange color. And this one, which is not having any kind of shades, they're going to mention, they're going to bring with the green color. Right? You can see this one, this chart in the safety department. So you've gone with the risk value for 3 risk event and you brought the value. So risk event is a moderate or a high impacting risk. Risk,
Moderate.
it's a moderate, right? You're able to rank as moderate. B is what? Moderate or high? Moderate. Still it is moderate.
Moderate. Yes.
C is what? Moderate, high,
Low.
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 So now you're able to know how the risky values are calculated for each and every risk event. You have to define the probability and impact, right? And you need to bring that one in the table format and make sure that once the people are doing the probability assessment and impact assessment, they are able to know about how much money is wasted, how much cost is impacted, how much schedule is impacted, and what is the probability of that particular risk event is going to impact your thing. So they are able to know about the probability. So they are able to do the calculation, knowing the probability of the risk event occurrence and what will be the impact. So they are able to use the definition, probability in the impact definition table, and they are able to get the value for the each and every risk event or the risk score, and they are able to place the risk event in this kind of matrix, in this kind of charts. So this chart is called the probability and impact matrix charts, right? So, or they're going to call this one as a color coding system. Color coding system. What all the risk event they're going to place under the red color, it's called as a it's a danger, it's a high impacting risk. What are the risk event they're going to place under the yellow or orange, it's a moderate impacting risk. What are the risk event they're going to place under the green zone, it's a low impacting risk, right? So it's applicable for both the threats and opportunities. Or they're going to call this one as a look-up table. Look-up table. Either they're going to call this one as a probability and impact matrix chart, or they're going to call this one as a color coding system, or they'll be calling this one as a look-up table. So everything is ready. You are able to define in the risk management. It's not so easy. You have to define everything very properly. What my subsequent processes in the risk domain will be using what. So everything should be proper.
Bala,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Bala, sorry to interrupt. You said that in opportunities also they will be marking with red for
Yeah,
high,
yeah.
yellow, orange.
Yes,
as
yes,
mod.
yes.
But
yes.
it's an opportunity like positive impact. Why still it is red color then?
Yeah, red color. It's a high opportunity. You have to exploit it, right? You have to exploit it, right? Which risk event is a high impact risk event? You have to place that one, right? Risk can be a positive and negative, right?
Yeah.
For example, you are the only one company in the market, UAE market, got the project. You got the project, and this project will go for 4 years.
Okay.
Now, how the labor market is, you don't have manpower. So you're going to hire the manpower from the manpower companies, right?
Yeah.
So what price the manpower company will give you? What quotation they're going to give you? They're going to give the highest quotation, or they're going to give the quotation which will be having the discounts.
If they come to know that I am the only
No,
one
definitely
got-
the people comes to know that you got your project, right?
Yeah.
Immediately
They
they
will then
give
it
you
will
all, or
be
they make
low,
they
moderate or low, right?
see, if the contractor is awarded with the contract, if the manpower companies knows that this particular contractor was awarded by this client, The next moment you'll get a call, or next moment you'll be getting the email pertaining to that. They will just clearly state that you can get the very good quote from us, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's
they,
your
they will
opportunity.
discount it.
Huh?
Yeah, they will provide the discount.
Yeah, they'll provide a lot of discount. So what you're going to do?
Yeah.
You got 4 quotes from 4 different manpower company. One has given you 10% discount. One is given you 16% discount. One will be giving you 18% discount, and one is giving you 20% discount. So which one you're going to select? This is not an opportunity. You will not exploit it.
Yeah.
Right? Still, if you want to wait some time, they will make a lot of follow-up calls, right? Nitin, what happened?
Yeah.
We send in the code. You're taking any action on that, sir? You're taking any decision on that? Already you selected your provider? No, actually, one more provider has given me 22%. I'm still thinking. So you are clearly utilizing your opportunity, right? Why I want to stretch myself? Let the opportunity fall in my feet. You're waiting our lap, right? Let it fall, that the fruit fall in your lap. So then what happened? The person who has given you 20% quote will give you a final quote that is, sir, flat 25%. Please. Don't try to expect more than this. So that 25% overall discount is a opportunity or not for you. Right?
Yeah.
So now what happened here? You can either use this matrix chart as a combo chart for both the threats and opportunity, or the project is so complex in nature, there is a lot of risk even that will be giving you much confusion. You can go with a separate chart for threats and separate chart for opportunity. Anyhow, you'll be assessing the probability for both the threats and opportunity, and you will be knowing their impact. So you'll be assessing the probability and you'll be assessing their impact. So either you can go with the combo chart by combining the opportunity and threat in the same chart, or you can go with a separate chart. But what happened, it's a clear advice. If you want to use a separate chart for your threats or separate chart for your opportunity, or you want to use as a combo chart, try to use a separate chart for each and every objective. Scope, use a separate chart. Cost, use a separate chart. Quality, use a separate chart. Communication, use a separate chart. Resource, use a separate chart. Schedule, use a separate chart. Why? Why?
Just to have a detailed profile analysis.
No, actually, if the cost is impacting and you brought the risk value is 0.18, right? So you're going to place that one here, right? Okay, the schedule also will be impacted and you'll be getting the same value. You'll be placing this in the same area, right? Don't you think that's too much of confusion if you're going to place all the values in the one single chart?
Yeah,
it will be so much of confusion, right or wrong? So
yes.
What happened here? Try to use a separate probability and impact matrix chart for each and every objectives. You can go with the threats and opportunity, you can bring in the same chart, but try to use a separate chart for each and every objectives. Too much of information in the same chart, that will be giving you a lot of confusions. So this can be called as a lookup table. This can be called as a color coding systems, or this can be called as a probability and impact matrix charts. So once you are able to find out the risk value by multiplying the probability with this impact, you are able to bring that value and you are able to place in the chart, right? And you are able to rank that risk, which risk events are high impacting, which risk events are moderate impacting, and which risk events are low impacting. And try to suggest your people what you're going to do with the low impacting risk.
Okay.
What you are trying to do with the low impacting risk. Please take a note. So once you are able to bring the low impacting risk into low impacting column, because in the risk register, you need to come with a different column, right? Which risk are high, which risk are moderate, which risk are low, right? So what happened here? Once you are bringing the low impacting risk, try to name this one as a watch list. So examination point of view, they'll be asking what you're going to do with the low priority risk or low impact risk. Try to bring, you are able to put that one in the watch list. You will do nothing. You will be doing only monitoring. Because this risk should not jump from the low priority to the moderate or high priority. It should not bite you. So there should be you need to just do only monitoring. So you're going to name as not low priority, you're going to name that column as a watch list. Is it clear or not, guys? It's clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, okay.
So be very cautious. You are able to define the risk management plan. You are able to know about your RBS, the level of RBS, 2 level or 3 level of RBS you have to use. Then you have to make sure that what kind of prompt list is used for you to bring the risk into that particular category. That will be the lowest level of your RBS. It will simulate you for the risk identification process. Then if you want to categorize your risk or if you want to prioritize your risk, define the probability and impact. After you get to establish a threshold, after knowing about the risk profile of each and every stakeholder, try to establish a control threshold for each and every objectives and try to tag all your objectives towards this control thresholds. And you ask your team, risk team, to define the probability and impact table. The table should be 5 levels, and make sure that what scale you're going to use. You're going to use a descriptive scale for you to measure the value of the risk events, or you'll be using the numerical scale for you to measure the value of the risk events. Then you need to have the ready-made chart. The chart will be the lookup table or a color coding chart, or it can be called as a probability and impact chart. It can be a combined chart for the threats and opportunity, or it can be a separate chart for threat and opportunity. Whether it's a combined or separate, try to use a separate chart for each and every objectives. So it's very easy for you to bring the risk value, place that risk value in the chart, and it's very easy for you to give the ranking to each and every risk. Try to rank the low priority risk as a watch list. Do nothing. You need to do monitoring. Advise the people to monitor continuously. It should not jump from that list, and it should not go as a high impacting risk. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once you define the risk management plan, what is the next thing you have to do? Once you start defining the risk management plan, what is the next process?
Identify this.
You need to identify the risk. So once you're identifying the risk, where are you going to bring the risk events? You need to have a separate document for you to capture the risk, right? So what is your output? What is your
Risk
output?
register.
So the genesis, the origination of the risk register and risk report is created in the process called identify risk process. Why we need to have the risk register and why we need to have the risk report? What is the intention for you to have the risk register and what is the intention for you to have the risk report? What level of information are you going to send into the risk register? What level of information you'll be sending into the risk report? Why there is two separate documents? Why there is two separate documents? From here, once it got the genesis, once the risk register and risk report got this genesis, and once you are using the risk register and risk report in other processes, whether it's a risk related process or any other knowledge area process, you know very well risk is associated everywhere. So every process will be using the risk register as an input to spot out any risky events are there in the process. Procurement process will be using the complete risk register because you are not able to procure the goods, service, or you're not able to bring the people or the contractor inside. You are able to bring the risk associated with your goods, service, and the contractor. So you need to know, you need to just bring the risk events, the contract related risk event into the risk registers. Quality related risk. So quality management will be using the risk register. So everywhere the risk register and risk report throughout this project lifecycle is getting updated. So it's growing its size into bulkier and bulkier and bulkier and bulkier and bulkier. Many updation will go into the risk register. Once you are developing the risk responses and once you are documenting the responses into the risk register, many corresponding changes will happen not only in the risk register or risk report, the entire project documents and management plan will be getting the complete corresponding updations. So we'll see that once we are coming to the develop response process, plan your responses. Once you're going to assess your risk qualitatively and quantitatively, you need to do the response. You need to respond to each and every risk events. So the people start developing the responses, planning the responses, right? So what is the significant difference you can see in the risk register and risk report? What a difference you can see between the risk register and risk report?
Is it the threshold you are?
No, threshold, everything is kept in the risk management plan. You're
Mhm.
able to establish a threshold after understanding the risk profile of each and every stakeholder, after going through the mental state of individual stakeholder, and collectively you're able to bring us a risk appetite, you're able to establish a thresholds for each and every objectives. What is the variation, allowable variation they can allow into the objectives? What variation they can allow in the cost? What variation they can allow in the schedule? So you are already established. Based on the control threshold only, you are able to define the probability and impact. You are able to define the tables. And you are able to know about the scale to measure the risk value, whether you will be using the ordinal scale or cardinal scale. And you're ready with your matrix chart. If you're going to measure the value of the risk events in the qualitative, after you're going to assess the probability of the risk occurrence and the impact of the risk which is going to lead to the objectives, you are able to know the risk value, and the chart is ready for you to place the value of the risk. So you got your risk matrix, you got your probability and impact matrix charts. Everything is ready. But what information are you going to send into the risk register and risk report? Without the risk management plan, it's not easy for you. You can't run this process because all the guideline how to perform the risk identification process, when you need to perform the risk identification process, how many times you have to repeat this process, everything goes into the risk management plan. The budget, the resources, the activity you're going to perform, the tool and technique you're going to use, the templates which are you going to use, what level of information you're going to bring into the templates which you are using for this process. Who will be the subject matter experts will be performing the risk identifications. Everything has gone into the risk management plan, the budget you're going to spend. And very clearly, it's given that to categorize your risk, what kind of prompt list will be used. So without the risk management plan, you can't perform this process. All the guideline for this process already documented in the risk management plan. That's some other document. So what level of information you're going to send into the risk register? I will reveal. I will give a clue.
Risk register is like, I mean, how to, what are the, list of risk and how to handle this one. And probably the risk report contains with the plans or responses. How to.
No, even.
Is it?
No. Actually, even the risk register, you need to document the responses, right? Please note, that is not the case. According to the project management institute, it's not from me. The risk register will be more elaborated. And a risk report will be a summary level. The complete risk events, which is going to impact your project in future, the complete elaborated information about each and every risk events goes into the risk register. And only the high impacting risk, whether it's a positive or it's a negative high impacting risk, only the summary level of that information will go into the risk report. Risk report is for the management and risk register is for you and your risk managers. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. Now, before going into the topic, how you will be performing the risk management in the adaptive projects and how you will be performing the risk management in the predictive projects. You know, the predictive projects are broken into different phases. Phase A, phase B, phase C. And you'll be doing your adaptive project in iterations. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. So how you are able to perform the risk management? The difference between this one, in the examination point of view, the risk management will be performed throughout your phases. It's not one time, it's throughout your phases, you'll be performing the risk management. But in the case of adaptive projects, since the iteration will be only for 2 to 4 weeks. So you are able to perform the risk management only in the start of each and every iterations. During the beginning of each and every iteration, you'll be performing the risk management. But in the case of predictive project, you'll be performing the risk management throughout. Why we need to perform the risk management throughout your projects? And especially, the risk identification process is not going to be a one-time process. It's a continuous process. So when you're going to repeat this process, the periodic information will go into the risk management plan. The periodic information will go into the risk management plan. Once in 15 days, once in 45 days, once in 30 days. Why?
We can reprioritize and we can focus on high risk.
Okay, that is one case. You are able to capture the complete risk even during the outset of your project, during the beginning of the project, whether you are able to bring the complete risk even into the risk register.
No.
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 There will be a lot of risk will be emerging in the middle of your project, right? The mid stage of your project, there will be a lot of emerging risk. There will be many risks will be coming as a future risk. So that's the reason this particular process will be a continuous process. Or we can stick on only with the periodic information given in the risk management plan that we need to repeat this process once in 15 days, once in 30 days, once in 45 days. We have to stick on to that. What happens if your organization is going for complete changes? The organization you are working is the restructuring of the organization is happening, or your organization is entering into a joint venture. The organization is going as a business associate, and they're going to enter as a share and alliance partners. There is a strategic teaming agreement is happening between two organizations, your organization and other organizations. So you will not repeat this process. If there is any change management is going to impact your organization, so you need to perform this process. Whether this particular changes will be impacting the project badly or in a positive way or in a negative way. So you have to repeat this process. What kind of risk will be impacting your project if the organization is restructuring itself? So don't try to wait for the periodic information to start this process. Make sure that if the organization is going for any kind of changes, the complete organization is restructuring itself. The organization is entering into alliance part, share and alliance partner, or it's entering into a strategic teaming agreement, you need to repeat this process. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. I'm going to call the consultant. I'm going to call the co-project manager. I'm going to call the co-project teams. I'm going to call my steering committee. I'm going to invite my sponsor. I'll be calling my regulatory authorities. I'll be calling my board of directors, executive committees. I'll be calling the operation teams. I'll be calling my functional teams. I'll be calling the people from financial side. I'll be calling the people from press. I'll be calling the people for the technical committees, the industry group, the focus group. So I'll be calling many people for me to perform this process. Why more the people should be invited? Why the more the people will be invited here? What is the need for you to bring more people here?
They have stakeholders, right? So they may.
Everyone is a stakeholder, right?
Yeah, every stakeholder will have
your
risk.
team
They
member
will
or
come up
stake-
with their risk.
What, ma'am?
They will come up with their risk which impact the project, right?
Okay,
Past
so I can put your sentence in this format. More the people, more the risk will be spotted out. Nothing will be escaping from your project. Nothing will be escaping from your project. So more the people, the more the merrier. More the people, the more the risk you can find out. Right or wrong? Right. Okay. Now the risk register, I said that it should be more elaborated. How are we going to elaborate? How are we going to elaborate your risk register? The Project Management Institute, through its scholar, they are saying that you have to come with a clear risk descriptions. For each and every risk event, you need to come with a clear risk description. This risk description should be in the format of a risk statement. Why we need to bring the risk event into a clear risk descriptions? Why you need
categorize and group? To categorize and group?
No. Why we need to give a clear description for each and every risk events? If you're not giving a clear, if you don't have the clarity on the descriptions of each and every risk event which you brought into the risk register, after many sittings, after many workshops, risk-related workshops, after sitting with many subject matter experts, the consultant, co-project managers, lenders, press, you brought the risk events into the risk register, which is going to impact your project in future. If you don't give the clarity, if you don't give the clear descriptions, what happens? What is the consequences?
Yeah, we may not address it properly, and it will go. I
What
mean,
you are not,
the risk
what
may
you are not able to, what you are not able to address?
the risk to mitigate that.
No, not mitigation.
I mean,
No, that's not a mitigation. If you are not giving the clarity on the risk description, the next process is qualitative risk assessment process, right? It's a subjective assessment. They are going to assess the complete risk given for its probability and impact, right?
yes.
They can give the clarity on their assessment. They can assess properly on the probability and impact. If you're not giving the clear descriptions to them.
No, it will not.
So can you able to come with a proper prioritization? If you are not giving the clarity or clear description for each and every risk event, the people is not able to do proper probability and impact assessments, and they are giving you the priority list. The priority list will be a concise priority list, or it's a faulty priority list.
Possibly faulty.
It's a faulty one, right? Then again, you need to go down to collect the data for each and every risk events. It's a mere waste, right? So be very crystal clear, concise, and give the clear description for each and every risk events. So they are asking you to bring the risk description as a risk statement, and you doesn't require to use the roundabout way. Try to give the exact thing, right? So what they're asking you to use, the scholars, they're asking you to use a risk meta language. A risk meta language. Try to find out the source. Try to give the scope of the risk. Try to just know what kind of cost it will give to your objectives, where it will be impacted, how much it will be impacted. So you have to bring a clear risk description using the risk meta language, right? So here you can see you are using almost all your management plans on your baselines. Why? You are using almost all your management plans on your baseline. Why? You're using the requirement management plan, you're using the skill management plan, cost management, quality management, resource management, risk management. Risk management is a guideline document. Baseline, scope, cost, schedule baseline. Why?
Yeah, based on that, we need to re-baseline the cost or schedule like that.
No, rebaseline and all will be happening once you're using this document as an input, once you're performing the quantitative. If there's any variation is happening, if the quantitative risk assessment will spot out the variations. So the assessment will ask you to cover the variation by bringing the contingencies, right?
Yes.
So that time you can do this, you can rebaseline it. But why we have to use the documents on all the baseline documents and management plans here as an input? What happens if your team is not, if the team has brought all this document that is loosely written, vaguely written? You can know the difference between the things. If a particular documents or baseline is well written, it will be having more risk or less risk.
Less risk.
It will be having very less risk. What happened? This particular document is loosely written. Your approach towards this document is a lax approach. Lax. The lax is a Latin term that they brought from relax. It's a loose approach. The doctors, the gynecologists will say that once you're taking your wife during your pregnancy, why you're not looking at her, why you're not taking care? It's a last month. She has to give birth. She's not healthy condition. Your approach is totally a lax approach. It's a loose approach. You set loose. So what happened? You're going to use the same kind of lax approach in all the documents. It will be having a lot of risk or less risk if your documents are not well written. Hello?
High risk.
It will be having high risk, right? So you're able to find out the risk. So that's the reason that you can see the complete documents, management plans, and the baseline are kept as for you to know whether the documents are loosely written or it's well written, right? And you know very well the cost estimate, duration estimate, resource requirements, everything will be having a risk in it. If you're going to use the analogous estimation for all the estimations, the line item cost, the duration, for each and every activity completion, the resource need for you to complete a task, you have used the analogous, and it will be having a range of minus 25 to 75% plus 75. So the range of values will be giving a lot of risk, right? Right or wrong? Hello?
Yes.
Right? Right or wrong? See, 75,000, it will take 175,000. So there is a lot of range. You can see there is a widespread. It's more riskier. Right? Right or wrong, sir?
Correct.
Okay. Why you are using the stakeholder register? You know very well, many people should be called here for you to find out the risk. So that's the reason you're going to use that one. Your requirement documentation is going to be a shopping list. Stakeholder register will be a guest list. Right? What happens if you're going to take your contractor inside for replacing a spares in the aircraft? So you need to compile. You need to compile yourself, comply with the compliance, right? Regulations, right? It will be a lot of risk will be there taking a contractor inside. What happens? The contractor has to go into the Emir Palace for refurbishing work. It will be a lot of risk, right? Or what happened? You're going to take your the airlift vehicle inside the airport to take the complete cargoes. The person should have the license to do that, right? If the person is not having the license to lift the air cargo, what happens? So that will be one of the requirements. Right? A person who is not certified to operate a tower crane. And you need to have a tower crane, that is one of the requirements. So that will be more riskier, right? Why we need to use the agreements here for as an input here? Why we have to use the agreement as an input here? You can see the agreement is used here. What kind of agreement you going to use? Can I call all my legal binding as an agreement? Can I call all my legal binding as an agreement? Guys, give me the answer, guys. Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay, what about the formal binding? Formal binding. Purchase order is a legal binding or formal binding?
Legal.
Okay. Letter of intent?
Legal.
Okay. Email? Email?
Formal.
Okay. Letter of
Email.
acceptance?
Legal.
Okay. Memorandum of understanding? Memorandum of agreement?
Legal.
Fixed price contract?
Legal.
Okay. Handshake?
Formal.
The accounts department wants a software application for its accounts for the payroll. So it's asking the internal IT team to develop the software applications. So they have accepted, they're going to make a gesture of handshake. So agreement can be a formal or it can be a legal binding, right? Okay. So in the agreement, you will have the payment terms and condition, right? So the payment terms and condition will not be a riskier if you're not able to make the payment, if you don't have the funds for the payments.
Yeah.
Right?
It may involve penalty.
So agreements also will be having the complete information when you need to call the people for doing the service. The printer you brought, the cartridge you brought is a high-end printer with the color cartridges. So it will be mentioning that you need to call the service team once in the 30 days, once in the 45 days, right? Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Someone made what happened, ma'am? Hello? Miss Kala? Hello? You're able to see a new screen in front of you.
Yeah, Bala.
See, actually, there will be no class on coming Wednesday. You can get your classes on Saturday. You're able to come on Saturday or only
Saturday, Bala.
Huh?
What time? What time it will be?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Actually, Mani has made a new batch. So he asked me to give introduction class and just postpone the class for 2 weeks after. So already he has committed to the person. So Wednesday, I'm not able to give the classes with you. Still, we have 2 more classes. We have to complete the remaining process in the risk and procurements. So Monday, or you are comfortable in getting the classes on Saturday?
Bala, how many classes are left after today?
2 more classes.
Because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm out of town, so
Okay.
I would
No, no,
prefer to
Friday-
have it in.
Friday, Saturday, Friday, I can't give because I'm having other classes, weekend classes. Saturday, I can give, I'm having classes morning in Shell company inside, that's a corporate. I'll be coming after 2-3 o'clock, morning from 8 until 3 o'clock, I'll be having classes there. So if you can come at Saturday, I can give you the link, or otherwise I can,
I mean, if it is okay for all members, we can have it in next week as usual, Monday,
okay, no
Wednesday.
problem. So I can send you a link on Monday for Monday, next class. Wednesday will not be the classes.
I guess it will be unilateral. You have to ask for other members because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am out of town.
Okay. So so next class will be on Monday, not on Wednesday. So we'll decide. If one class is extending, if I need 1 more classes, I'll be using the subsequent Saturday. Not this Saturday. Okay.
Okay, yeah, Bala, fine. Okay.
Okay. A project manager is managing a project which has very complex and long execution period, although the project is mostly predictive. The team was unable to break the design and execution into smaller packages using a hybrid framework. The business wants to keep the track of the value delivered by this framework application, but there is no defined set of measurable items for the framework. What should the project manager do first? We never seen this, right?
No.
Okay. So what are you going to do? Hybrid is a fusion of your predictive life cycle with your adaptive life cycle. Adaptive life cycle projects are broken into phases. Adaptive project life cycle is broken into iterations. Predictive life cycle projects are broken into phases. So what is the answer? The team was able to break the design and execution into smaller packages using the hybrid framework. Very complex, long execution period. And for your kind information, there is a batch which you're going to start on Wednesday, and it will be postponed for 1 week. So if anyone is interested to get your classes, if you see you are missing some classes, if you want attend one more session also, you can use that one with a 0 cost. You can take the information from Mr. Mani. So when the classes are scheduled, so accordingly, you'll be sending you the link also. If anyone is interested, you are missing some classes and you want to attend, you are not able to get some information in the existing class, you want to get your things to be clarified. If you can attend one more session, so that will be sorted out. If you feel in that aspect, if you have that kind of perceptions, you can come for our new classes free of cost.
Noted, Bala. Only for missed classes, or we can attend?
No, all the full classes you have privilege to attend, sir. But you put a note to Mr. Mani because he'll be having a separate WhatsApp group. So you'll be adding.
Okay.
You'll be adding your name in that WhatsApp group also. So you'll be getting the continuous link.
Okay. Thanks, Bala.
Okay. So what is your answer? What is your pickup for the first one? So there is no defined set of measurable items for the framework. So what as a PM you will do first? Please give me your answers.
First one.
So you want to go with the alpha A.
Yes.
Okay. So how many people are coming with answer A? The correct answer is A. Work with the stakeholder to determine which measurable benefits can be tracked and assigned to an accountable person to monitor and report them. A is the correct answer. The second one, a new resource has joined an iterative project team. The project manager notices that the resource is unable to complete the deliverables on time. How should the project manager address these situations?
A. Alpha.
What about
By
B?
coaching.
Discuss your option to improve the performance. Address the lack of performance directly. You're saying to that person, that means something like you will not feel awkward. You will not consider that one, then your team member will not consider that one as an insult. If you're going to address directly to him, you're not working well, you're not showing your performance. Let me coach you. Or you'll be discussing with the resource manager, okay, I think that this person is lacking some performance. What is the way for us to improve this guy? Which one will be more proactive?
Yeah. Second one.
Second one.
Proactive or no, you asked for proactive or
Yeah,
the second one sounds good. As you said.
Arun,
I mean,
Francis, Venkatesh, Mr. Varun, Yuvraj, Vinod, everyone should participate, please. So which one will be more proactive? Proactive. B is more proactive, right? Addressing the lack of performance directly at the face of your people, that will not be, you are not insulting your team member. And after that, you're coaching him. Like you're making a slap on his face and you're coaching him. Which one we going to select? A or B? It's very clear option, A or B.
B.
B, yeah, B for Bombay.
Yeah.
Okay, so B is a very correct answer. B is very appropriate, right? B is very much appropriate. The third one, in analyzing the project for monthly status reporting, the project manager notices that the schedule performance index is 0.75. Good or bad? We know very well that the SPI should be equal to 1 or above 1. So you are able to extract the productivity for $1 or above $1. Good performance. If it's falling below, then you're not able to extract the productivity. And CPI also should be above 1 or equal to 1. The return on investment for every $1 should be equal to $1 or more than $1. So the SPI is good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. CPI?
Good.
Okay. The project manager must provide the first project status review soon and wants to emphasize that the project is under control. How should the project manager report the project status to the key stakeholders? So you have 4 options. So your approach should be very proactive. So there is one chart is used here. You're able to see a chart which is used here called
No.
Pareto chart.
Fishbone diagram.
No, fishbone diagram.
Pareto chart. No. Pareto chart.
What is Pareto chart? So fishbone diagram will be helping you to Perform
cause
cost and effect and
analysis.
right? Cost and effect
Yeah.
analysis or root cause analysis or why, right?
Yeah.
So you will know the underlying root cause, and not only that, you are able to know about the ancillary costs also, sub cost, ancillary cost. So that will be leading to an effect. What is this Pareto chart? Something is new. Please note down, Pareto chart is nothing but 80-20 rule chart. The 80% of the profit is coming from 20% of repeated customers. 80% of the problem is happening because of 20% of notorious children in the school, right? So the chart was given by Wilfredo Pareto. So this guy was a 18th century Italian economist. He said that 80% of the wealth in Italy was ruled by 20% of Italian populations. 80% of the wealth in the Italy is belong to 20% of the people, 20% of the populations. So it's a 80-20 rule. So that chart will be used for you to know which problem you have to consider first, the highest or the lowest. Like they're going to use this one in the city where you can see most of the accident. What is the reason for accident is happening in Qatar? So many things are coming as a factors, like people are using the mobile during the driving. People are sleepy. People are very rash. So you have many factors and you're going to decide which is the 80% of the cost of the driving. So if they're going to ask you in the Pareto, it's nothing but 80-20. Wilfredo Pareto brought the chart called 80-20 rule. So what is your answer for this one?
C.
Okay, C. No, already you brought the root cause and you brought your SPI and CPA was 1.25, right?
But they're asking to emphasize the point, right? Why we can make it under the
Okay,
control.
what, okay. Can you read the above one, the B, above C?
Above one is additional experience resource can be added, means again CPA will go up, right?
See, actually you are maintaining a budget, right? So you are having 1.25, right? CPI.
Yeah, now it is there. If I'm adding the resource, again that also may go down, right?
No, see, 1.25 is favoring you, right? So you can use your extra profit in bringing extra money. So you can put your work there and you can bring your SPA also equal to 1, right? That is more positiveness, right? You're reporting that project is behind schedule, but that an additional experience resource can be added to stay within schedule and maintain the budget, right?
Okay.
So B is the correct answer. B, 3B. The fourth one, a group has been working together for 1 month. During daily meetings, a team member continues to express issue in completing the task. What should the project manager do? He is able to express his issues in completing their task. So here you have to take a directive and collaborative approach.
C.
D.
Okay. Can you read the C? That sounds so good. Confidential discussion with the team to identify the root cause. Because all the team members are not giving their issues. Only one person in the team is expressing his issues, right? During daily meetings, a team member, not the members, not the team. Right? So have a confidential discussion with the team member to identify his root cause. So can we go with C?
Yes.
C is the correct answer.
Bala, what was the option for number 3 question? Sorry, I missed it.
See this one, B, report that project is behind schedule.
Okay.
Since your CPS is favoring you, 1.25, right?
Yeah.
So $1 the
Thanks.
investment and we are getting 1.25 cents, $1.25 extra. So that 25 can be used for you to procure additional resources. So that resource can work on the task. So the task will be regaining its lost time. So you're able to maintain the SPA in one, and CPA also will be maintained.
Clear, Bala. Thanks.
So what is the answer? It's broken into 2 pages. The project charter was just approved, and the project sponsor has given a permission to proceed with the project. The program manager has confirmed that one of the requested key resources also needed to another project. At same time, this will affect the project delivery. What should the project manager do? So it's a scarce resources. Now the project manager wants that resource, and the program manager also wants a resource for the another project. So now how you are able to tackle this?
B.
D for
Beta.
Beta. I have a meeting with the project manager of other project to find out the resource optimization. Yes. So that will be a correct answer. So B. Here I make B. Company wants to increase the commercial value of one of its product in a highly competitive market. In order to do this, the company commissions the project to create a prototype. So the team construct the prototype incrementally. What action should the project manager take as a priority? What do you mean a Kanban methodology? Kanban.
Scrum approach.
Kanban.
Agile.
Kanban is a is a to-do list. You
Yeah,
will create
to-do
a
list.
column and you are able to monitor your workflow. The workflow should not have any kind of obstacles. So you have the planning list, and you'll be having the doing list, currently what you're doing, and you're having other column done list, waiting for the customer to do the product review. It's a Kanban.
D.
The company wants to increase the commercial value of one of its product in a highly competitive market. So what you need to do?
Delta. D.
What about C? Deliver the business value as soon as possible. Is it clear? Market is so competitive. So you try to deliver the business values as soon as possible. So for C, sorry, for 6, C is correct answer. 7th one, in a hybrid project, the customer has issued a contract that specifies the deliverables for each quarter. The customer wants to show their stakeholders a tangible outcome in the first quarter and wants to move to the second milestone to the first quarter. The project manager explains to the customer that is not feasible unless the requirements for the second milestones are changed. Which 2 actions should the project manager take? Here it's a multiple correct answer. So they're going to close the bracket with the 2. So out of 5, you have to select 2.
One is D.
Tell the customer that moving the milestone that has very high impact on the
D.
cost. See,
D for Denmark.
D for
okay, ask the customer their priorities regarding the requirements for the second milestone. Yeah, that's correct. The other one? So since it's a high agile projects,
C.
go back to the development team and discuss what second milestone requirements can be performed in the first quarter. Yeah, the correct answer for this one, C and D, right? Charlie and Delta. C and D is the correct answer for the 7th one. 8th one. A project has very tight delivery schedule. The project is approaching the delivery date, and the project sponsor often sends a project manager alerts to avoid any schedule slippage. The project team has performed at an accepted level until now, but the project manager wants to ensure the team performance level is maintained until the end. What action should the project manager take to motivate the team member performance?
C, Charlie.
C.
Award certificate of appreciation to encourage the team. Yeah, that's the correct thing. Right. 9th one. A research and development R&D department is planning to develop a product that will introduce a new line of business for organization. What should the project manager do to increase the project chance of success?
B.
Start developing the project management plan based on the previous project template from the PMO. Okay. What is the chance for you to make the success? So the question never said that you have a PMO office. So planning to develop a product that has to introduce a new level, a line of business for the organization. So you are initiating this project for the strategic opportunities.
It's A or D.
A is
Alpha or
D. A. The vision, mission of the initiatives, and you need to focus on the scope, right? Working session. So you plan a working session focusing on scope, vision, and mission of initiatives, right? So A is correct. 9, A is correct. The 10th one, make it smaller. A project team has recently completed an initial sprint developing an automated payroll system for a company. The project manager has scheduled a sprint planning meeting with the product owner and team members to discuss which features should be worked on next. Which 2 pieces of information does the project manager need in order to make this meeting so productive and effective? So you have 5 options. Sprint charter, burn down chart, company mission and vision statement, product backlog, and sprint goal. So what will be your take?
A and D, Alpha and Elephant.
Sprint charter and a product backlog. See, there is no document called sprint charter. The charter will be charter, project charter.
B and D, burn down chart and
burn down chart and product backlog. Burn down chart will make you to give the information how much work is burned down till date, right? And product backlog will be giving you the information how much features is left over, right or wrong? If your team is going to work if they're going to work in a good manner and they are able to maintain the good velocity, you can see that what they have committed to deliver, they are able to commit to deliver. So the product backlog and the burn down chart will be the 2 documents that will be very important document. So you can make your meeting so productive and effective going through the burn down chart and the product backlog, right guys? Right or wrong? So the correct answer is B and D. B and D. So what will be your answer for the 11th one? After reviewing the project management plan with the key stakeholders, the project manager was told that the 18-month release plan was unacceptable and the product should launch in a 6-month period. Based on a new timeline, what should the project manager do?
Alpha. A.
Overtime. Apply crashing and fast and share the risk of failure of project stakeholders. See, this is the initiation stage, right? Why you want to show the failure reports? So you can't get your buy-in from the stakeholders, right? And release plan also, it's aligned to the adaptive projects.
B.
So B is very correct
Okay.
answer. Will be the project backlog, looking at high priority items and come up a minimum viable product that fits the expected timeline, right? Okay, B is the correct answer. 12th one, a project is being executed. The project life cycle is defined as a predictive. However, a major deliverable will be handed over incrementally to the customer. The assigned resources are experienced and reliable and are willing to make a decision that a project manager used to make after each incremental delivery on the other projects. What should the project manager do? They want to make the decisions. So they doesn't want to stand in front of the project manager for each and every decisions. They are seeking the autonomy from the project manager.
Second,
Beta.
support.
B.
Support the decisions. So be proactive, support their decisions. So B, 13. A project manager is assigned to lead a newly formed agile team. The functional manager has assigned the task to task members, but the team members do not feel empowered. How can the project manager promote empowerment and accountability among the team? The same thing, last question we have discussed. You are giving the empowerment, woman empowerment. So the team also should be empowered for them to take a self-decisions. So once the team is going to come with their own decision, they're going to consider their decisions are valued.
C.
So give the team the autonomy. Autonomy. Don't forget the word autonomy. They're going to use the word autonomy. 14th, the project manager is having a difficulty obtaining approval of the project requirements because there is a disagreement among the stakeholders. The issue is putting the project schedule at risk. What should the project manager do first to facilitate approval of the project requirements? About project requirements, there is a disagreement between the stakeholders. So what you need to do?
Identify the source of disagreement.
Source of disagreement should be identified. 15. The project manager has been assigned to lead a project to deploy a new system. The stakeholders agree on the project objectives and approach. What should the project manager do? They strongly disagree about your the approach, the objectives. So being a PM, what you have to do?
D. Break down the situation to it.
So everyone is making the answer correct. D. Break down the situation to identify the root cause. A stakeholder on a project has a reputation of being easily angered and unreasonably difficult on the projects. So the project manager would like to minimize the impact of the stakeholder behavior on the development team. What training should the project manager choose to their team to help with this situation? Clearly, these questions are coming for people skills. 42%, 74 questions will be getting from people. So what is your answer?
C. Emotional intelligence.
Emotional. So you need to understand other people's emotions. EI. 17. A project manager has 2 projects that are being executed at the same time. The duration of the critical project must be reduced, but the project manager does not have enough resources to achieve this goal. In addition, the schedule does not have activities that can be overlapped. What should the project manager do?
Alpha. Analyze both projects.
Yes, that is more proactive, right? So answer is A. Analyze both the project to determine the most effective use of common resources. 18. An organization is in the transition to Agile, and a project has been chosen as a pilot. The assigned project manager only has experience using predictive approach, but the project manager is now required to use Agile approaches with the help of Agile coach. During the retrospective of the 5th sprint, The project team complains that many obstacles exist in the organization that are creating the project delays and rework. What should the project manager do to these situations?
D, delta.
Yeah. See, collaboration, directive approach, autonomy. So everything is working out, right? Promote collaboration to help remove the obstacles for the team. That's a directive approach. D. 18. D. 19. After a meeting with the customer, the project manager receives a special recognition because the project is always on schedule. Later that day, the project manager attends a regular project team meeting to follow up the status on the deliverables. What should the project manager do in the project team meetings? Special recognition.
Alpha.
So
Alpha.
make sure that what you got from the customer, you have to share with your team members, right? So the feedback has to be shared. So this is not possible. The project is not going to be a one-man show. It's not happening in the vacuum. It's a team one. So try to share the feedback which you receive from the customer. The customer is so happy. A. For 19, it should be A. The 20th. A key stakeholder for the construction project has been spending a lot of time on the site and interrupting the team efforts. So it's obstacles. It's an impediment. What should the project manager do to these situations? A key stakeholder for a construction project has been spending a lot of time on the site and always is interpreting. So there's a lot of interactions.
First, A.
Yeah. So understand the key stakeholder concern and provide him a feedback in a regular project status report. A is correct answer. 20A. 21. A project manager started a new project and must ensure that the team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. After an interview with the team, the project manager discovers that the resource have experience in different agile methodology. What should the project manager do? Guys, some people are taking the classes from Sri Lanka. Few people are taking the classes from UAE, and most of the people are here in Qatar. So tomorrow you need to go. So I'll be a little bit fast. So don't try to take it in a wrong sense. We will be having another 4 more questions. So once we are completing, we'll be having more question session for the next class. So what is your answer? Each and every team members is having a different methodology. They know different agile methods.
C.
Huh?
C.
C.
So make sure that there's common understanding of agile, right? Ensure the team has common understanding of agile. 21, it go for C. 22, an agile project is running in the 5th iteration out of 8. After the last iteration planning, the team was informed that there is a new competitor in the market and it is necessary to move very faster to ensure market share is not missed. What should the project manager do? I should be a mentor, I should be a coach, I should be a guideline, I should show them a proper direction, I need to spot out, I need to drop the spotlight on them. I need to show them a proper direction. I should be a problem solver, not the problem maker.
C.
Charlie.
Yes, help your team to find out a new approach to launch the product as soon as possible. A software project using agile approach is facing quality issues with every release, generating many production problems. What should the project manager do to fix the problem and improve the quality? Always, every release. A release is something you bring all the completed features and you're going to bring it to the product line and you'll be asking the customer to come and do the product review.
D, delta.
Yes, root cause of quality problem. You are breaking that one into, right? You're understanding the root cause. So that's the correct answer. 23, it goes for D. 24, and verbal announcement is made that a new team member joining the Scrum team was limited mobility. The Scrum Master is aware that, but some team members are unsure how the team dynamics will change and what should the Scrum Master do. Scrum Master will should give the feasible environment for the developers to the team. You should not.
D.
Huh?
D, delta.
Yeah, set up a meeting to discuss how the team will accommodate a new team members, right? So 24, it will go for D, the 25. A technical SME identifies an occurrence that should be captured into a project lesson learned. The SME asks the project manager to write, document, and include the lessons learned register. What should the project manager do? I am a proactive project manager.
D.
So I should
D.
not always stand in my comfort zone. I need to step down from the comfort zone. So take ownership and document that informations. Right, guys? So thank you very much. See you on Monday. So our class will be on Monday, 7 o'clock. And if one class is extended, you need to come for subsequent week Saturday. So that will be the last day for us. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Sorry, I just stretched your time. Tomorrow you have to go to your work. See you Monday. Happy week. And bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Good night.